Last episode 1 said game music needs handles. That was the easy part. This time I had to put the handle somewhere they could embarrass me. So I made a tiny game. Not a fake trailer. Not a mock-up. A playable top-down prototype with a scripted capture route for music states, visible zones, enemies, a state log, stems, and a final video clip generated from the game itself. The job was simple: make the music react to the scene without pretending the prototype is bigger than it is. If I walk through the forest, it should feel exploratory. If I enter safety, the music should thin out. If I touch danger, pressure should arrive before the fight fully starts. And if I enter battle, the soundtrack should stop being wallpaper and start doing work. So I made the receipt first. The game has 2 modes. Interactive mode, where I can move around with the keyboard. And capture mode, where the same route is played back deterministically, frame by frame, so the footage can be reproduced instead of trusted. That matters because screen recording a lucky run would be the wrong kind of proof. I wanted a game that could incriminate itself. The music is new too. I made 5 loopable stems: pad, bass, bell, drum, and danger. Then I exported for state mixes from those stems. Exploration gets pad, bass, and bell. Safety loses the bass and becomes lighter. Danger keeps the floor but adds the warning layer. Battle drops the pad, brings in drums, and lets the danger layer push forward. Here is the actual run. That is the first useful result. The game is tiny, but the soundtrack is not just pasted underneath it. The music state is visible, the active stems are visible, and the route crosses enough zones to force the system to change. Now listen to the same scene as the state changes. This is where the test gets less flattering. The system works, but it exposes the next problem immediately. A hard state change is honest, but it is not elegant. When the game moves from exploration to danger, the soundtrack should feel like pressure entering the room. My first version mostly says, "New zone, new loop." That is useful enough to prove the pipeline. It is not subtle enough to call finished game audio. But the important part is that I can see the failure now. The state log shows every switch. The capture frames show where the player was. The audio file proves what the viewer heard. And the stems give me a place to fix it next time. That is the difference between a vibe and a system. A vibe either works or it does not. A system leaves handles. So the verdict is, the game works as a test rig, not as a finished game. The music works as adaptive proof, not as finished scoring. And the capture pipeline works well enough that I can stop describing game systems and start putting them under pressure. This is the channel upgrade. I now have a repeatable way to make a tiny game, generate music for it, run it deterministically, record the evidence, and judge the result without pretending the attempt was cleaner than it was. That matters because the next sloppy episodes can be less theoretical. If I make a mechanic, I can show it being played. If I make music, I can show what it does to a scene. If I claim a system works, I can make the system leave receipts. Last episode ended with a question. Can I put the music somewhere it matters? The answer is yes. But the better answer is, now I can tell exactly where it is still too sloppy.